What's up, guys? So, while it is my job to shoot content, some of that being social content, it's not my job to leave you hanging, you know? Here you go. Here's your video. Figure it out on your own. So, today, we're going to discuss what not to do with your brand's social media. Social media has become a powerful tool for brands to connect with their audience, build relationships, and showcase their identity. However, not all social media strategies lead to success. Today, we're going to explore some common mistakes to avoid in order to maintain a positive and effective presence in today's social media ecosystem. Are you ready? Put your phone down, stop scrolling, stop doom scrolling. Number one is neglecting consistency. Now, this is very important because when people follow you on social media, it's like the psychology of nurturing a friendship. Now, you may have some friends that you can just pick up where you left off, no problem, no matter how long it's been. But for most, if you don't have some kind of constant connection, your interest in nurturing that connection is going to wane. So consistency is a big part of remaining a part of someone's life, remaining in the forefront of their mind so that they're always thinking about your brand. Now, that doesn't mean bombard people with content. It doesn't mean you have to be posting every day. It doesn't even necessarily mean you have to be posting every week, but there should be a cadence to how you post. That way, you remain in the forefront of your audience's mind, and therefore they are making decisions that involve your brand. Number two is ignoring audience engagement. Have you ever been in a text conversation, then you get left on read? How's that feel? It's not nice. It doesn't feel good. How does it make you feel? It makes you feel like the energy and effort that you've invested into this relationship is not being reciprocated. Now, it's a little different because it's a company or it's a personality or it's someone that's got a lot going on. Everybody kind of has a lot going on social, don't they? But for the most part, if someone takes the time to put a comment on your page, it means that they are extending themselves to you. They're expressing that they are taking interest in what you're doing and they're taking interest in you, your brand, or your product. So it is wise to reciprocate that interest. Hi, how are you? Thanks for the comment. It's as simple as that. That's it. Number three is overlooking analytics. So, if you put something out and it bombs, are you going to put out the same style of thing again? Well, if you are, you're probably wasting your time and energy because your audience has communicated to you that this is not necessarily the content that they are interested in engaging with. This is why diversity in your content is important because you can A/B test things. Hey, here's a very sharp product photo. Here's a very interesting how-to video. Which of these two things did better? I don't think it's necessarily wise to base all your decisions on what gets a lot of views and what gets a lot of likes because sometimes stuff just goes overlooked and that can happen. But for the most part, you want to pay attention to what does well and double down on that. This is a big thing on YouTube. If you make a YouTube video and it does great, consider making a part two. Either way, do not ignore your analytics. Pay attention to what people like, and your social media accounts and engagement will continue to grow. Using too many platforms. Now, this is a bit of a nuanced thing, yeah? The truth is, it's a bit unwise to post the same stuff across all platforms. It introduces a certain amount of fatigue in your audience. And it also discourages them from following you on multiple platforms. Why would I want to follow your Facebook if I already follow your Instagram and the same content is appearing on both channels? This kind of goes back to the overlooking analytics thing, but what is wise to do is use the platforms that you're doing well on and tailor your content to that platform. It's probably an entirely separate video to describe what content is better suited for what channel. For the most part, there's stuff that makes sense on Instagram, there's stuff that makes sense on Facebook. Just to spitball here, there's, typically educational stuff and ad videos will work better on Facebook, typically entertainment, short how-tos, funnier stuff will work on Instagram, etc. Tailor your content to the different platforms that you're going to use, and I would say definitely prioritize the platforms that are working best for you and your brand. Number five is ignoring negative feedback. Now, this is a little bit of a necessity depending on how big you are because, the more people you reach, the more negative feedback you're going to get. And in a way, negative feedback can be a positive thing because it's people exerting their energy to communicate with you, but also feedback is valuable, positive or negative. don't ignore it. Pay attention to what people are saying. And, use a little bit of discernment to see, like, are these comments just coming from a place of internal misery on the part of the user? Or are they coming from a constructive place by a fan or an audience member that actually cares about your product and wants to see it improve? And I'm sure you may know this by now, but in case you don't delete negative comments. Leave them there. Interact with the person. Resolve the issue. It's much more useful that people will see the negative feedback and see that you're willing to resolve it and you're willing to communicate with the person and that you're of the mind of improving rather than taking things personal. So try your best. I'm sure it can be difficult. We all love our products and brands and we care a lot about them, but try to take the criticism with a grain of salt and resolve the issue if you do have one. Being overly promotional. This is something that people do not understand. Okay? I can tell you for sure, people who do not work in social media do not understand that being overly promotional, quote unquote, is a completely negative thing and it's going to waste a lot of time, energy, and money. Social media is not the place to constantly post ads. People do not want to be advertised to on social media, even though we still do it. We do it in creative ways. We work the ad into valuable content. That's a very delicate line to walk. I understand that. However, it is important to master walking that line. If your content comes off like a commercial and that's all you post, it's not going to get views. So all that time and energy you put into that ad or that piece of content is going to go to waste. And 2, you're going to damage the trust you have with your audience because they're there to be entertained, they're there to be educated, and they're there to support your brand. You don't need to advertise to people who are already following you on social media. That's an echo chamber. If you want to put a paid ad out there, that's fine. But the stuff that appears on your feed should be valuable. It should reinforce the connection and relationship you have with your followers and not beat them in the head with more advertisement and more sell. You got their attention. Now, make it worth their while. Failing to humanize your brand. I can tell you for sure this is something else that people do not... This is a good one. People don't know this. People don't understand this. Why? Because of fear. Oftentimes, it's a little scary to lift the veil on your company. Show a little bit of the behind the scenes, huh? You scared? You nervous? It's all right. Employee stories, customer testimonials, and just giving people an idea of who's like behind the curtain, so to speak, like who's there, who's working here, what kind of people run this company. You got to have faith in your company culture. And if you don't have faith in your company culture, then maybe it's in need of a little bit of development, cultivation, huh? You ever think about that? Failing to humanize your brand can make it feel distant from your audience, and it's going to make it feel less relatable. And for social media, that's not what we want. We want connection. We want growth. We want to reinforce that relationship. Okay, using controversial topics inappropriately. Now, how many brands have completely dive-bombed their online presence by using controversial topics inappropriately? A great deal, especially in the past 5 years or so. While taking a stand on an important issue can be commendable, for sure, using controversial topics solely for engagement can backfire. Rightly so. You don't want people to think that you're chiming in on something just to benefit brand. That's pretty low and it looks bad. And you may mean well, but it looks bad. Be authentic in your support and ensure alignment with your brand values. And when in doubt, just keep your mouth shut. It's easy. Okay, we did it. In conclusion, on social media, brands need to navigate carefully in order to cultivate a positive and effective ecosystem by avoiding these common pitfalls and by adopting a thoughtful and strategic approach. Your brand can cultivate a loyal following and thrive in the digital realm using their social media content. And speaking of social media content, if you need social media content production and you don't know where to go, you can always visit OneTrackMind.com. That is ON3TRACKMAND.com. And I'll be there to answer all your questions. I'm Rob McGovern from One Track Mind. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.